last 2 years, the scenario was a little not so optimistic. This year we've seen an increase in the demand for talent. Fortunately or unfortunately, we occupy the top 10–15% of the institutes where companies hire from. But the slowdown hit us as well, and now we can see that there is renewed vigor in the companies wanting to come back, wanting to connect, wanting to do more and beyond. And in fact, we've been proposing that don't just look at hiring, because hiring comes and goes, but work goes on. Okay, and which means that you yet need people who would be ready to take on your job from day one. I mean, you pay full salary from day one, right? So you don't want somebody who performs suboptimally and is a trainee for so many days, especially after they've been through an MBA course. I think what really makes them ready is to face similar challenges while they're learning the concepts, and so break their teeth on the real concept, but in the precincts of the degree program, and then when they join you, they'll be better off. So a lot of companies now are investing with us to build that relationship, and we are going out and talking about it because it's a win-win proposition for everybody. So it works for us, it works for them, it works for the students, and that relationship building is in one area. But the numbers game, yes, so lesser number of people overall want to do an MBA, but companies want to hire now. I think because of the optimistic outlook, the government policies, the emphasis on infrastructure, the fact that they want to do more in terms of FDIs and allowing that even in restricted areas like the defense. I mean, this is something that declared today. So I think overall it is changing the business scenario, and there's a lot of optimism in that, and so we are happier because of that. Some of the biggest challenges are to involve the demographic dividend that India has. Okay, so higher education, we actually represent a really small percentage of that. About 90% of employability concerns are in the sub-graduation area. Yeah, so investing in vocational courses, investing in building the right kind of talent pipeline, the way the IITs keep up to date with their syllabi, allowing the vocational courses also to build up strength in those areas. Not everybody can do an MBA, but a whole bunch of them, given India, will do a graduation. So enable that to happen, but not in an area which they don't know where and how they will earn. India is a country where the population is yet growing, we've not yet stabilized. And so the people need to be trained to build skills that will enable them to earn the moment the degree is over. So they need to be empowered to take care of themselves and their families, and it automatically improves the voice that these people have. I mean, if you've seen an AAP overturn, so many years of Congress rule, or if you've seen somebody from Gujarat come and take over the country and take the world by storm, is because the middle class, took to the streets. It changes the game dramatically, and I think that if the country and the governance recognizes that, I think we have a long way to go, and we can get there. I mean, I presume we can do so many things much better than anybody else in the world. We just need to put money where our mouth is. Unfortunately, it was being put in somebody else's mouth. So I hope that we are on the right track, and days will say, but it's better to be optimistic. But the exposure that the students will get working in a startup is amazing. Okay, there are a whole lot of companies out there who encourage people from failed organizations that they started off to come and join them, because they understand that somebody who's seen failure would know how to avoid it the next time, and so the company wants to gain from that. A lot of MBA students today realize that the larger the organization, the lower down in the pyramid they are going to be. So they're not going to get true exposure right up front. They will not do strategy. Whereas in a startup, they will do strategy, they will do more, and they will get paid well. Today, it's not just about money. It's important, but it's not about money. The students today want to bite their teeth in the first couple of years into real work which they can showcase, and then use that to leverage finances later on, but not in the beginning. Of course, they operate in a band, you can't just pay them peanuts and expect them to, it doesn't work like that. However, they realize and they are able to trade off and understand that. A lot of students that we have in our batch, at least a couple of students every batch start off their own ventures, and they're first time entrepreneurs, first generation. There's a whole bunch of them that are second generation, so I'm not referring to those numbers. But first generation entrepreneurs are quite a few. And in a batch of 250, you have even 2 or 3, it means a 1% population, which is huge. If you look at Silicon Valley in California, how many Indians? It's full of Indians. I think with respect to MHRD, one good thing that they have done is this emphasis on skill development. Emphasis on setting up, center of excellence of institutes of higher learning in all the different states, and not just keep it limited to certain states. And rolling out those institutes in the different states, I think, is a great initiative. The other great initiative is rolling out the technical institutes. Those things, 2 things I think by far are really important. Separating UGC and NAC, making them independent bodies, because an assessor and a regulator should not be the same. Recognition of that, I think, has been great. However, it would help to maybe improve the percentage of foreigners we take into university programs, which is right now limited to 15%. Now, if we truly want diversity, we want more people to intermingle and see India for what it is, maybe increasing that would help to some extent. I mean, it's open to debate. I'm sure they have got many more things to consider, because it's like a huge potpourri. You change one ingredient, too many other things get impacted. But from our perspective, I feel that diversity, not just gender, but different states, different countries, helps. So there is a cap on that. If something can be done about that, would be nice. And a little more freedom and trust on the private universities would be important, because the kind of population we have, the kind of gross enrollment ratio that we have is not very good. It needs to improve. So government can do only so much. You have to take private ownership also, much like FDI. So if something like that can be enabled more, it has been enabled, not that it has not been, but if it, if there is a better, more transparent, the Tandon Committee happened in 2009. It can't have a bearing today. It's 5 years hence. The world's changed. It's a different place. So those kind of things. I mean, I think if the Ministry of HRD, in most cases it has kept up with the times, but in a couple more areas, if they are a little more dynamic, it would help. But I think we also are placing too much burden of expectation on the new government that has not even completed 2 months. So
let's wait and watch.
Yes, something that was going on for 20 years, you want it undone in 2 months or lesser. That's not possible. It's not possible. But it's possible in 5 years. So, and we'll hope for the best.